Greetings everyone, we are here with Rob from Death Angel. Happy birthday!
Oh, thank you very much.
How was the celebration?
It was very mellow. I mean, it was already, birthday was on October 29th, so it's over. But I was just, you know, I just laid low at home and 49, man. Maybe next year on 50 we'll do something, but these days I'm just trying to ignore the aging process. I'm not really trying to make a big deal of my birthday or whatever.
I'm in the same shoes, so...
Yeah, you know.
And how is
for us old people out here.
How is the tour with Annihilator and Testament?
Now that's something to celebrate. It's amazing. Yeah, we're one weekend and it's been crazy. It's been great.
You played with Ted in the band for like 15 years now. How do you inspire each other as guitarists and musicians?
I mean, we just love music, so our lives are based around music, and even our friendship is based around music and equipment and gear and everything. We're constantly, if we're not working on, you know, if we're not dealing with actual music itself, we're dealing with something that has to do with music. Like setting up our tours, preparing, it's constantly about something to do with music. So I mean, because of that and because how much we're just into it, I think we just naturally inspire each other just by doing the things we do on a daily basis and playing and listening to music and going to concerts the normal way that all people who love music and musicians are inspired by.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what are your favorite guitar duos?
Duos? Oh wow. I'm gonna have to go to the classic, I mean, Tipton and KK Downing, Adrian Smith and Dave Murray. The various guitar duos that have been Thin Lizzy. You know, I'd say off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with those three right there.
And do you remember your first guitar that you ever had?
The very, very, very first guitar I tried to play and learn on was just some acoustic guitar that my dad had in the house, even though my dad didn't know how to play. Just for some reason there was an acoustic there, and luckily, because that's the thing what I got attracted to and started to learn. But then when I started to take guitar lessons, and then my parents bought me an electric guitar, then I got this thing that was called C Series. I have no idea. It's probably just a cheap kind of Stratocaster shaped brown guitar that I played. And I wish I still had it somehow. I don't even know what became of it. I probably traded it in when I got my first real guitar, which was a Gibson Flying V. Like a 1981 Gibson Flying V, which I still own today.
What was the first song and the first solo you ever learned?
Ooh. Testing my memory, are you? I have to answer these questions without Ted, because normally Ted can answer my own questions for me. Alright. I remember learning the intro of Stairway to Heaven, somehow. My guitar teacher teaching me that. Solo. I never really tried to learn other people's solos really note for note all the way through, just like parts of it, and I'd do my own thing or something. I didn't have the patience to try to like copy someone's solo completely, but I probably tried to learn something kind of simple, like probably like whatever the solos that were happening in Green Manalishi on Unleashed in the East. I remember we used to cover that song when the band was first forming. And I also probably tried to learn, I remember we used to play Children of the Damned from Number of the Beast, and I try to attempt that solo in the beginning, the slow solo in the intro.
Could you tell us about your gear?
Sure. In Death Angel, you know, I mean, I have tons of gear, different stuff and whatever, but my main stuff, what I play in Death Angel on tour, is for guitars. I have my custom signature series Jackson guitars.
It was pretty awesome, by the way.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I've played those since the original one Grover Jackson and Mike Shannon built for me in 1989 when Grover Jackson was still with the company. And have played those models ever since as my Death Angel guitars. And those are loaded these days with EMG pickups, 81 and
85.
No, I don't use 81 and 85. I use HA. Is it HA in the neck position? I switched to those kind of recently. They're kind of like a single coil but stacked like that. And so it's HA. You ever heard of that kind?
Not
Yeah. So not as many people use those, but they work good for me. Floyd Rose standard on all my guitars. Top mounted, not recessed bridges too, so that's kind of different these days. Everyone has recessed bridges, but mine's old school on top. And I play those guitars through Engel amps. I use Engel E530 preamp, rack preamp, out of 850/100 power amps. They're rack mounted stuff. They sound amazing for me. And I use Engel cabinets. For this tour I just bought, they custom made me white cabinets, which I've been wanting ever since I saw Randy Rhoads play white Marshalls, who was my original guitar hero. And so I finally got myself some white cabinets, and they sound crushing, and they're just awesome sounding. And in my rack I have my pedal board is custom pedal board that my guitar tech at home, Anders Aho, made for me, and it's got my GCX ground control. I use the switcher, the GCX switcher, so I run all my Dunlop pedals, and they're all mounted inside my rack, and I use all Dunlop effects. In this rack I have a Echoplex pedal and the digital delay, line boost for leads, chorus, Zakk Wylde chorus, flanger. That's the little one now. They made this little, I forgot what, it's like a 90, flanger 90 or 95 or something. It's a little small flanger, phaser that is, phase 95, little guy. And a rack wah pedal. That's about it.
What about the picks and the strings?
Dunlop. I use Dunlop heavy core strings. They make a custom gauge for me, 10 through 52s, and Dunlop picks.
And what was your first concert as a fan and as a musician?
Okay, that I know without a doubt. So, Kiss, 1979. San Francisco, the Cow Palace in San Francisco, the Dynasty Tour, all original members. And our whole band, before we were even a band, like the original members of the band, we were all cousins. And before we even formed that band, we were starting to get into music. When I went to that show in '79, God, I was 11 years old. Like our parents took us to the show. We couldn't go by ourselves, but they knew we loved Kiss, so they bought us tickets. They took us, and when we saw that show, I mean, we had our faces painted like Kiss and everything. We were, and that was when we saw that, we realized we have to learn how to play instruments so that we can do that. And that was absolutely the reason why we even exist today.
Are you part of the Kiss Army?
No, I never was. I wanted to be, but it never happened for me. In my heart, I was.
What was your first concert as a musician?
As a musician? You mean playing our performance? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Or even a high school performance, whatever.
So in high school, Mark was in the choir, singing in the choir at the school, singing, and I was playing guitar in the guitar classes at school. I was actually the assistant of the teacher because I already learned how to play guitar, but I tried to take that beginning guitar class and pretended I didn't know how to play so I could get an easy A A in that class. And one day the teacher caught me like trying to showing off to other students because I was playing. So she said, you cannot have this class. You already know how to play. So then she just let me be the assistant. So then I was kind of helping people. And so then I played the guitar with when we had a graduation, our senior class graduation. It was a huge place where Mark and I lived at the time and went to high school. It's a place where everyone played concerts, like the real, it's called the Concord Pavilion, and that's like where all the rock concerts happen there. But our high school graduation took place in that place. So when we performed, I played the guitar and Mark was singing with the class there. And so we were actually playing in this fucking place where the real concerts happen. So we were imagining to ourselves that we were playing a big concert. So in one way, that was one real performance of a big concert, but not a true thing with the band. But as a musician, yeah. But with Death Angel, an actual club show, our first show was at a place in a city called Pacifica, which was south of San Francisco, and this place was called the Sub Shop. It was basically like a delicatessen, like a sandwich place. Yeah, and in the back corner, I don't know, somehow they were gonna have some live music, and we got a gig there.
Sounds cool, milkshake and Death Angel.
Yeah, you get a sandwich, you get a beverage, and the band. But that was our first show.
Who was the craziest fan you have ever met?
Just for fun, I'm gonna say the craziest fan that we ever met is Crystal Kenzel. She is our #1 fan, and I mean crazy in all the most loving and complimentary way, because I love you, Crystal. But she's the fan.
I always consider thrash metal another more extreme type of metal music, like a music genre that can help people to go through hard times. What is your spiritual sanctuary?
Wow. I'd say my family at home, just recharging in between tours and in between studio time, and the rare time where I have actual chunk of time at home. That's my spiritual sanctuary. And on tour, my spiritual sanctuary is that 1 hour I can get to myself before, in between everything, where I just literally, it's the time where you're working out, where you exercise, do yoga, stretch, and have my headphones on, listening to my own music various music that I don't want to play, that's not metal, that everyone, that we listen to 24 hours of the day. And in this time, I'm just trying to think about my people at home and just put myself in my space of the same spot where I'm doing that workout in my living room with my kid there, and how if I close my eyes, I'm there in my house, and they're around me, and then in my mind I'm there and I'm escaping for a while, and that's the only way I can do it out here. And in the United States when we tour, then it's pretty awesome because I bring my mountain bike with me in the tour bus, and so then on top of that part, I'll even add a bike ride where then I take off and just go away from everything and try to find water, try to find a river, lake, by the ocean if possible, some kind of thing like that, and just ride around and get some kind of peaceful, spiritual sanctuary this way. Then come back to the brutal insanity of the tour. And in summertime, I'll walk around. I try to walk in Europe too. There's amazing things to look at and walk around and see. It's fucking freezing right now, so
it is.
I'm not really into walking around and freezing my ass off.
Do you have a favorite place to go to recharge your batteries?
Home. At home, in my studio, in the back of my house, or just in my backyard, is really the place I love to be. I'm not able to be there enough. So when I go home, it's funny, my friends think, they're like, you don't go out, you always just stay home, you don't want to go out and stuff. I'm like, I'm always out. I've just been gone for 7 weeks, out the whole entire time I'm out. Now I'm here at this house where I love my house and I just want to enjoy it for a while and just relax, you know, do something simple like watch TV with my kid or something like that. And for me, that's all I need.
All right. And when I was talking about the healing power of music, do you get more or less the same feedback from the fans?
Quite often, yeah. It's amazing. That's like one of the, actually when fans approach me and tell me something about like a certain song of ours got them through a hard time of their life, or it touches them so much deeply, like, you know, I mean, people, sometimes they're telling you see they got tears in their eyes because they're feeling all the feeling and they just want you to know that that's happening for them. And to me, that's one of the most amazing things, because yeah, that it happens for me the same way with my music, what I love, and gets me through everything. So I can see where they're coming from, and to know that our music is doing that for people, well, that's just the spirit and the power of music right there.
And how would you express yourself if there was no music in your life?
I don't know, because that's what I do. I probably go around driving everybody crazy, just attempting to express myself, talking too much, and I don't really know. But thank God there's music, because that's where I do it. I really couldn't answer that. It's like trying to ask me, well, how can I imagine a life without music? Like, how would that be? So I just can't even answer that, because it just seems like that would just be really not good, since my entire life is revolving around music. So,
and
yeah.
What did music do to you? How did it shape your personality?
I mean, literally, everything I am is because of music. I can't even remember the time when we didn't live for music. It was like, by the time, like I said, we were already seeing Kiss. I was only 11 years old, and it was already becoming my world at that point of time.
What do you think about the evolution of thrash metal music? Do you follow the newer bands?
I mean, to be honest, I don't follow the newer bands. I hear of them. I try to check out as much as I can, just to see what's going on and see what people are doing. And I think there's, you know, a lot of great new music coming out these days. But I'm just an old school kind of guy. Like, and when I listen to music, I just listen to the stuff that I love. I love the artists that inspired me when I was, you know, to me, the gods of music. And then here and there, I check out other music, have a listen, but it's hard for me to be inspired by music what's already inspired by something that I'm already listening to before, if that makes any sense. You know, when I hear new thrash, it's just like, I'm not trying to say anything negative against it, it's just that immediately my mind's like picking out, like, I hear this band here, I hear the sounds like this part, this reminds me of that, this reminds me of that.
I see.
And again, I'm not saying it negatively, it's just, I can't help it. My ears are just hearing those sounds in there. And so I end up analyzing it that way, and I think they do a good job, but then I rather just listen to the source than that. So, you know, this is how it is. I wouldn't be surprised if the bands who I admire don't listen to Death Angel to get inspired, you know what I mean? They listen probably to even older music and other things where what you grew up, what's part of the stuff that you just love and that really inspires you.
Your last album, The Evil Divide, came out in 2016. Are you working on a new album?
Every time this question comes, I feel the pressure, because we will be soon. Yeah, and I've got, you know, I got little ideas here and there, and I got my notes for concepts and little stuff, but I haven't fully jumped into like the full on. It's like once I turn my mind into creative process and writing, then like it usually comes in like big waves of stuff all at once. And I'll start listening to the little ideas and start listening to that. Oh, that's kind of cool idea, start putting it together. But right now we're still in a touring phase, and I just want to enjoy the live aspect and the touring and where we are and kind of going around. Otherwise, I'm going to just be like always locked in the back of the bus or in the dressing room, like working on music, which I've done before when I have to write on the road. But I don't really feel like writing on the road right now. I want to experience the things, because when that's happening, yeah, you miss everything. You just sleep and you go, then you're just in the back, and then you play the show, and it's like you're like, isolated all the time. So kind of want to, right now what I'm doing is gathering inspiration. So a lot of times these days, mainly the things that's for inspiration, for creativity and writing music is not necessarily coming from music itself. It's more so coming from experiences of life. And then what you experience and the emotions you gather from the different things that and the people you meet and the places you see, then that's like turning into music inspiration. So
that was going to be my next question.
There you go. I felt it. So yeah.
Please name your 5 favorite albums of all time.
They're always hard.
Everyone loves that question.
Yes, you know, so my disclaimer will have to say that I'm just going to name the 5 ones that's coming to me right now.
All right.
In another day I could have named 5 different albums or something, so don't get mad if I don't name the album I'm supposed to have said. Alright, Diary of a Madman. Then we'll go with Physical Graffiti, Led Zeppelin. Sabotage, Black Sabbath. Master of Puppets. Unleashed in the East. Judas Priest.
Alright. If you could pick the bands for a Death Angel tribute album, who would you like to hear to cover your songs?
That's interesting. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to hear some. I might not like it. That's really weird. I've never been asked that question before. What band? Like any band?
Any band.
Doing our music?
Even Black Sabbath.
Wow. Okay. Even Black Sabbath? How about Black Sabbath? That'd be alright. Obviously, I love Sabbath a lot. Ozzy's singing and just their overall style, their dark, bluesy, grooving style. So that'd be interesting to hear Black Sabbath do us. We covered Black Sabbath, so let's hear Black Sabbath cover Death Angel.
Any younger bands? Maybe Gojira, Meshuggah?
In that department, alright, I like to hear Mastodon's version.
Cool.
That'd be interesting.
What's the meaning of life?
I think meaning of life is different for different people. For me, it's just trying to make a difference with my existence, do something worthwhile other than take up space on the planet and use up the resources that's here. So I'm trying to give back in some way what possibly I can while I'm taking at the same time.
Any last words to your fans?
Thank you. I mean, that's the main thing that I ever would want to say is thank you, because without you we just could not possibly exist and do the things that we do, which is loving to play music as much as we possibly can, performing the energy of the crowd, and our fans always bring the fucking insane energy, and we have really, really great die-hard fans, and we love you, so thanks very much.
Thank you for your time.
Alright, thank you.